All right, we're rolling. Twyla, for the audience, can you give us a quick introduction?
Hi, my name is Twyla, and I am the CEO to 360 Housing Stability. And yeah, I'm super excited for this interview and just to share my experience and stuff like that with Mr. G's.
Awesome. And just for the audience, could you give a background on what your company does?
Yeah, so we do housing stabilization services, where we're pretty much a medical insurance provider where we help people get housed. It's a new healthcare benefit under Medicaid. So that's the gist of it. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
And how did you find me initially? I think it was.
I think it was a Facebook ad.
Right. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was through Facebook, and then we had an initial chat. And what was the initial reason why you came to me? I think it was primarily for your spreadsheets, right?
that's right. I had tons of spreadsheets and I was counting on that was like my solution to everything. We just need another spreadsheet. That's all we need and we're gonna figure this out.
Yeah.
And so it got to a point where everybody was like really stressed and I was excited about the new spreadsheet. And I was like, there has to be a better way. And I just don't know what that way is
Yeah.
outside of spreadsheets. So that is what initially, when I saw that you could automate and fix systems and stuff like that, I was like, oh, maybe this is a sign. This is the solution. Let's see
Right.
what this guy can do. So yeah.
Yeah. And it was pretty interesting because you had a different spreadsheet for every purpose, right? You had like 10 or 15 spreadsheets, which I mean, I guess it's somewhat like how many clients do you have when you started off with this? Because I know you scaled up quite a bit since we first started.
Yeah, I believe we had about 200. Yeah,
Okay.
200 or so, like something around there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like the spreadsheets, you were like at a point where the spreadsheets were kind of breaking, or like you were like at the brink where you're kind of, because there's nothing wrong with spreadsheets at the end of the day, right? If it gets the job done, it gets the job done. But you're
Mhm.
almost at a point, I remember there was like, multiple cases like tracking your clients. There was three different spreadsheets for the exact same thing.
Mhm.
And like, do you feel like you were kind of at like the breaking point of the spreadsheets limit? Like what were
Yeah, I was definitely at the breaking point, and so are my staff. Like they've had it.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know another way. So it definitely was getting in the way of our operations because our company was growing very quickly.
Mhm.
However, we didn't have the capacity internally to handle that. So, and we wouldn't have been able to handle it if we had not gotten your services to help us streamline all this stuff.
Just for context for the audience, how much like at what you are at 200 clients now with the current system we built in place, how many clients do you think you can reliably handle with what we've built at this current stage?
Well, we've currently doubled the amount that we have now, probably even a little over doubled how many clients currently, but we could definitely toggle, 3, 4 times this amount with the system that you have created, and we're still building on it. So,
Right.
the stars is the limits, when I figure out you can do even more, it's like, well, I think I have a new project for you, Jeets.
Yeah. And I think you didn't overhire or you didn't hire more people either in that time, right? Besides the housing coordinator. Did you hire more people on the admin staff as you were scaling?
No, no,
Okay.
no.
That I think is an important part that a lot of people miss because oftentimes it's like from 200 clients to 400 clients, now I got to double my staff to manage the load, right? With you, you were able to do it pretty smoothly. I mean, it was a pretty smooth transition, I feel like, without having to like, like your employee Jen, she's great. Now she's able to handle even more clients with less work than she was before.
Yeah, no, that's right. And like, I think the fact that you're available for help, like just in off times, like we may give you a call or something like that, and you're always available. And so I really think that that really helps. And you want to know, like, I appreciate the fact that you want to know if it's working, like you actually care. It's not just like, okay, we put this together, there you go. It's
Right.
like, hey, we put this together. I want to know how it's going for you. How's your company doing? And that speaks volumes. That's really important to me. Mhm.
I appreciate that. I mean, that's ultimately what I'm trying to do is you build you like a custom software, right? That's only for your operational process because you have an EMR, but they're never going to take the time to kind of build something that matches your process, your clients, your insurance and so on, right? So that's kind of what that's our whole objective. That's the whole reason why we exist. So, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Um, I guess the second part I wanted to touch on was now that you have this system, I think insurance, that's been a big pain point for you, right? Could you talk to the audience more about, I guess, and it's insane to me how long you guys have been going, but before I kind of spill the beans, could you kind of talk more about what was going on before we kind of implemented the new system?
Yeah, so before we implemented the system, the biggest complexity of our organization is the billing.
Hmm.
So with billing, there's a lot of different coding, there's a lot of reimbursement timeframes, there's a lot of partial reimbursements, and just a lot of stuff that comes with trying to get a claim process through insurance for like hundreds of people.
Right.
And so we didn't realize before we started working with you that we were like $88,000 pretty much down, like lost if we did not figure the system out, which helped us sort everything to see what money we owed, but the numbers weren't numbering before
Right.
we got set up with you. Um, and so those were the biggest pain points. It was just it was a lot.
Yeah. And that was, and like now that and here's the important part. Like as you're scaling, that number would have just kept increasing higher and higher every single month.
Like a snowball effect. Yes.
So, um, yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how you guys did it with the spreadsheets before. Even if I were to like come, if anyone was to come in, it would have been insane the amount of like load that was going around. Um,
Yeah, I thought that my billing person was gonna have a nervous breakdown really, and so
yeah,
bad. So
yeah,
this is what we got to do, But
right,
so I think that your expertise has been really a godsend because we see this work that we do as purpose work. I feel like it's my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do to help people. But when you're helping so many people at such high capacity and high volumes, you really need system in place because if you
right.
don't, you'll ultimately just do a disservice to clients because you're more focused on jump roping in the background than you are in the forefronts where you should be when it comes to helping people and what in this industry that we are in.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That makes sense. And I think another part that we added for you was a lot of the automations, right? Like the integrations, the email reminders, and all that. Could you kind of talk more about before what you had to do without the automation and now with like the email stuff and the
for
day,
sure.
the number of days, for example, with your insurance and not having that, like how has that helped you guys?
Yeah, so I think part of right now with the automated system and reminders that we have set up, automation emails to the coordinators to the front end, this is critical because before what we were doing is, well, we had to track the coordinator down, and they're in the community doing their work and going back and forth with calls and yeah, it just yeah, it was chaotic actually, very chaotic. But now with just the automatic automation email reminder to them, so we don't have to track them down to say, hey, it's time to renew this client so we can keep them as a client. It's more of an automated process now rather than we got to contact this coordinator. They're not answering the phone. We got to wait till they come in. The client's about to expire, and the client desperately needs our help. But
Right.
we also need to get paid. So so it was a lot. So yeah, it's way better. Now we have a color coded system, automation when it gets to 60 days or 90 days, it automatically turns a certain color. So we
Right.
just see. Before we were just counting the days.
Hmm.
Okay, we had a packet, a paper packet for all of our clients, and we would just highlight the ones for the month of that were expiring. But the month of, however, was too late because we're
Right.
supposed to actually
Right.
submit them 60 days prior.
Right.
So it was just a shit show, kind of, honestly. Hate to say it like that, but
No, no, and it's funny because a lot of businesses are in the exact same situation as you. That's the crazy part, right? Like you guys are good at what you do. When it comes to systems, right? Because you guys are good at the marketing, the sales, and getting the clients, the systems part kind of just gets left behind. So that's kind of where we come in and help you guys out. Do you have a rough ballpark in terms of like how much time was like wasted in terms of managing the spreadsheets or even like the reminders and so on per week? I'm not even talking about like work. I mean just getting things together and putting and like figuring out what the current status is for client or insurance reimbursement and so on.
well, before your system, it used to be like I'm up at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning doing this back end work. Like it was a lot. And I prided myself on doing that because I'm working hard. However, that's not really sustainable after like when you're getting in the hundreds and clients are growing more and more. It's just not sustainable. So now I have not stayed up till midnight for a very long time because a
That's
lot of
awesome.
this stuff is cleaned up now and there's automated systems so I don't have to manually go in sending out email reminders every single, and many times I wouldn't even do that right all the time. But whatever. The good news is that we found a solution and I'm just happy that you're kind of like part of the team. I mean, I know you're a
Yeah.
contracted worker, however,
Yeah. I
a
mean,
lot
I
of
call your
us.
team people all the time. I'll call Jen, I'll call Global, email and back because you're also very busy, right, as a CEO. So then that's why it's almost like we're temporarily coming as a part of your team and helping you guys all scale up together. So
Yes, yes. No, that's awesome. It's been great. And I actually have a couple other businesses on the side that once we get this thing straightened out, I could use some other help elsewhere. So I'm definitely a loyal customer. So you have helped make my life a lot easier in certain aspects when it comes to this business. And we got other endeavors that we will are excited to, have you dive in and help us with that too when the time comes. So yeah.
awesome. All right, I guess before we end this, if someone's considering working with us but they're unsure, is there something you would kind of like to let them know to make them feel more comfortable with working with us?
Well, yeah, I would say I would totally recommend Jeets and his team and organization. Not only has I could just speak from my own experiences, not only has he helped save me time, he's helped create some peace of mind. And if you're doubting it, don't doubt it. Just do it. And I have not been disappointed thus far. And you come through, you follow through, you're not hard to get a hold of, none of that stuff. That's the type of stuff I've had experience with other organized companies that I've worked with. Like they deliver it after I pay. It's like, where are these people? I haven't experienced that. So if you're on the fence, you should do it.
Appreciate it. Before we end this, if you want to kind of plug your company, your other side business, I know you've got a lot of stuff going on. Where can people find you or even buy from you?
Yeah. So currently I do a lot. I'm the CEO of 360 Housing Stability. This is for low income individuals who are suffering with housing issues. They need help with getting evictions, expungements, all these things off the record. We do that here. On the side, though, I do business coaching. And so that is my baby that I'm growing on the side. And so I'm not ready to reveal that right now, but
Okay.
just for now, we're gonna stick with
Yeah.
360 housing stability, and I got some other endeavors broiling over here. So, but no, thank you. I appreciate you, Jeets, and yeah, this has been good. This has been good.
Awesome. Thank you, Twyla.